with Spoonie with the Cowboys Report here on Tuesday. What do we got? The 18th? Is that where we're at? The 18th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We got about 4 practices underneath us now with training camp. Things are starting to happen. We got some roster moves. You know, I jinxed a Spoon, by the way. That's how I feel about it. I can't lie. I jinxed us. I did jinx us because I said at the end of the day, after we talked about, what was that, Saturday or Sunday when we talked about practice, and I was like, man, hold on. The biggest thing from the first couple of practices for me was that we had not had any injuries. I was beating the table for that about the non-injuries and whatnot, and lo and behold, immediately right after that, we ended up with a dadgum injury. Dadgummit. What's going on, everybody? I see Tavis is in the building. Buddha's in the building as well. Rush Turner 3 is in the building. I see you, Thomas Davis, tuning in. Give it a like, give it a share. Edward Jackson's in the building. We appreciate y'all. Let me check over here on YouTube real quick. You know, we got that YouTube going now. Oh, man, we're 3 deep over there. I see you, Nick. I see Howard in the building over there as well. We appreciate y'all. Again, I jinxed us. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation. I jinxed us. I said the best thing about camp so far was no injuries. And dadgummit, Wood stepped on, just having it on the drill and stepped on Gerald McCoy's foot, gave him the push. Bada bing, bada boom. There we are. When you saw the news, your first thoughts on it, guys?
I mean, at first was like, hopefully it's not serious. And then obviously it was serious. So it was a bummer, you know, because I think we were all excited about seeing what he could bring to our D-line and his veteran presence on the field and those things. But on the other hand, you know, I think for the first time in a long time, we are prepared to absorb that hit. So
there you go. Very true. Delaney Chipman has said me and Spoonie made each other 2017 draft and didn't even know it. Man, you just don't know. The gang's worldwide. You just never know when you might bump into one of us, right? Chris Westry in the building saying, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Kevin in the building as well saying, what's up, Star Gang? Appreciate you for tuning in as always. And yeah, Tavis, we're going to get into that because true to life, Poe is officially off of the PUP list. Now, there's somebody else still on there on the sideline that we wanted to talk about a little bit, right? Now, at the end of the day, now let's dive into this whole thing as it comes to Gerald McCoy. I know me and Mary and Spoonie was kind of talking about this beforehand. Man, Cowboys Nation was a little in an uproar because we cut Gerald McCoy. Mary, your thoughts on this cut of Gerald McCoy?
I mean, I guess I'm in the minority as far as I wasn't really surprised. But I'm confused by the outrage of cutting him. I mean, especially now with, you know, an extra guy on the team for what? He can't do anything. He can't come back from IR anytime during the season. It's season ending. They saved some money, and it was in his contract. You know, this was obviously a pre-existing issue that he's had that they knew could possibly come up. So they specifically put that specific injury in his contract. And so he knew it was coming if he got injured. And, you know, he got $3 million for it for 3 practices. So, I mean, and then on top of that, you know, Steven said that they spoke. So it's not like, you know, first off, it was in the contract. Second of all, they spoke before it happened. So it's not like they completely blindsided him and it's just like, oh, how dare they? He knew what he was getting into. The Cowboys knew what they were getting into. It's just a business move and it's not personal. It's not that big a deal.
Exactly. Spoonie, your thoughts about it? About the cut? You feeling some type of way about how the Cowboys handle business here, or?
Here's the deal. I'm going to give out a warning to everybody right now. You already know a lot of sports shows like ESPN, First Take, they make their fingers to try to make this a big deal, and it's not. It's Miss Mary just came out and said it. It was in his contract. He has something already wrong with the injury. They gave him a shot. He made $3 million off of it. It's business. You move on. You fill that spot with with somebody else. It's not something they did not release him because of a statement he made about Jerry Jones speaking. I'm telling y'all right now, media is licking their fingers to try to stir that up. And meanwhile, it's all over social media that everybody and anybody can get their hand on it. And I'm pretty sure they have it. When I have it, BJ have it. The first leg of Star Game is Mary had it. We all have it.
Right.
There's a copy of the contract that says what was about. But
right.
Again, we all know that they're gonna make a big thing and try to say that he got released because of what McCoy said earlier. And meanwhile, end of the day, we watch the game so long, we understand how a 2-year contract is really a 1-year deal. And we drafted the young guys like Neville Gallimore. We got the Tristan Hill. We have the young pieces to take over. Listen, I love McCoy. I hope that he does rehab and get a speedy recovery so we can maybe sign him next year if that's the case. But this was not a personal move against him at all.
Right.
Well, and not to mention, how can it be personal when Dontari Poe said something similar as well?
Right. And I think what people need to understand when it comes to that is, as soon as they cut him, the Cowboys did add somebody, by the way, because as we've been talking about, what is going on with La'el Collins? We keep hearing the coach tell us it's not a big deal. He's on the side. He's off to the side working, right, and everything. But they did add somebody today, right?
Yes.
They went ahead and added a tackle, Pace, correct?
Yes.
And he's on. And interesting enough, they signed it to a 2-year deal. I need to see the construct of that deal to let me know if that's really a legitimate 2-year deal or a 1-year move on. And I mean, he's got NFL experience. He's played with the Rams. He's played with the Niners. He's played with the Chiefs. Most recently, he was a starter for the XFL Renegades for the Dallas Cowboys. He's 26. He's got some starts in the NFL. Again, we needed some. We talked about this Sunday. Me and Smoothie did about this offensive line, and we're kind of short especially the tackle position. And I mean, what else are you going to do? Go ahead, save the $2.5 million, sign Pace here. And both the Cowboys and even Jerry McCoy both came out and said, hey, we'd like to revisit this after the season and try to get a deal done so we can come back and play here. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. The one thing that Mary definitely said that stuck out to me was we have covered ourselves here, not only because we have Tristan Hill, not only because we drafted Gallimore, but at the end of the day, as all three of us have been preaching, especially me and Mary, about you don't get rid of Crawford. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Tyrone Crawford's natural position is the 3 tech. He got paid by how well he played at the 3 tech. It's not his fault that the Garrett era and whatever tried to move him all over the defensive line, or we just didn't have a defensive end, so we stuck him out there because he was good enough against the run and couldn't give you no pass rush from that. But you still have guys there at the tech, because I see a lot of people say, oh, it's time to go sign Snacks. Snacks is a 1 tech, guys, at the end of the day. He would be the backup to Poe. He's not going to come here and be the 3 tech. So I don't look for a big signing to come down the lane right now. I think this is a move to go get Murphy to come in here at offensive tackle to give us some tackle help. I think the big question still is, the longer this lingers, now, of course, Smoothie, I told you, maybe I'll give it till Friday, but I'm pressing the emergency button now. It's Tuesday. They keep saying La'el Collins' injury is minor, yet he's still not cleared to come back and give us help on the field, and they wouldn't sign somebody, which kind of changes how I feel about it. And we still don't know what the injury is.
I mean, it is definitely suspect, but I don't think that it's necessarily something that's going to like linger on. I think the biggest thing is they don't have anyone to practice in that spot, really. You know, Cam Irving hasn't been able to practice either for his reasons. And so what do you do with that spot? You don't really have anybody. It's too early for me to think that it's something more serious. I think if it was something more serious, we would have heard it by now, because it just would have leaked. When you're starting right tackle coming off of the year that he had, even if the Dallas media wasn't reporting it, we would have heard from Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter by now.
Hey, okay. All right. I want to add this in. Hey, Speed J, just smile a little bit. Just smile. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we found another twin of BJ Nix here. This is Pace Murphy, the guy that we find.
Gang.
I'm sorry to say, that's sorry to say.
I might have snuck in.
DJ, are you not telling me and Mary something that we don't know? Did the Cowboys really sign you? And your Pace Murphy? Because this picture right here, because I'm looking at Pace Murphy, I look just like you.
Hey, if that check clears, I'm gone.
Hey, listen, I can play defensive tackle. I can play 3 go 1 second. I can do it all. Yo, put a word for me. Mary's my agent. You don't speak to me without Mary.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I mean, Mendoza checking in. I mean, and obviously, we're not hearing much about Mitch Hyatt. Obviously, we definitely want to hear something about him. Your guy. I mean, look, and I co-signed. You brought me on board with him with Clemson. As an undrafted guy last year, still hanging around. Definitely got to see some more from him. But again, I just, the longer it lingers, look, I'm a worrywart when it comes to these things. And when we go sign another offensive tackle, I get it. We got to have a rotational guy. We got to get more guys in here. But if you keep telling me it's a minor issue with Collins, and we're 3-4, we're getting to 5 practices, he's still off to the side, at least let us know what it is. How about that? Let me know exactly what he's working with so I can kind of feel a little bit better, like what it is, what's going on. Hall's definitely digging Spoony, showing my doppelganger there that just got signed by the Cowboys.
Spoony and Pace.
Well, Chop's in the building. Chopper style. What's going on? What's going on? Said they both look like Jack Black. I mean, I wish I had Jack Black's money. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hey, Bluff. Like I said, if the check clears, I'm gone. If the check clears, I'm gone. But neither here. Yeah, but at the end of the day, neither here nor there. Again, I think it sucks what happened with Joe McCoy. Obviously, good guy. Wanted to see him. We saw him working. Like we even saw him with the video that we posted on the page about him working with Hill and getting him up to speed and things. Like he was a guy that was working with them. It's just one of those freak things. I mean, it just so happened that Wood stepped on the foot as he pushed him at the same time, and boom, it went. But again, back to Mary's point and what we've all kind of talked about, they had this in the dadgum contract. It was lingo. Both sides knew this wasn't a blindside thing. Yeah. Both sides knew there was an issue with that knee. There was an issue with that tendon. If something happened, it gave us an out. Now, I will take this small time. Your guy Nix is going to take a small time. If we freed up $2.5 million, I'm going to keep pounding the table for Logan Ryan. I'm going to keep pounding. I'm still going to pound the table. I'm still going to pound the table for Logan Ryan. We just got a little bit closer money-wise to possibly go get us a Logan Ryan. But some things happen in camp that make them feel like maybe they don't need to. We'll get into maybe some Xavier Woods news. Well, Xavier Woods news in practice. Outside of that, again, hopefully that's the only one that big injuries, and we can get through the rest of the camp that way. That's the one thing, the word of attrition is real. It definitely sucks for him. Hopefully Collins comes back soon. Hopefully we don't see any more big injuries. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we need to see Randy Gregory come back real soon as well. We kind of talked about that. We were kind of hoping to maybe see that Monday, Tuesday. We haven't yet. We don't know what the holdup is, but back to what you said, Spoon. They're very quiet all of a sudden. And typically when you all of a sudden hear a lot of just hush, no Twitter news, no nothing, something usually is about to pop up. So hopefully we get some Randy Gregory news. But be clear, I think we will have to cut somebody when we bring Gregory in. That'll be something to pay attention as well. But now let's go ahead and move on to the actual practice. Let's get some camp notes out of the way. Wide receivers, and I ain't talking about the big three. Wide receivers in the building, doing some work. Cedric Wilson getting a lot of props in the from the slot position, making some great catches, doing some things, getting open. Ventrell Bryant, the one catch last year for a touchdown on Thanksgiving Day, had a deep catch, has been kind of showing up and doing some special teams stuff as well. And then Jave Johnson, maybe the catch of the day, scooping one just a few inches off the ground and bringing it in. Good to see that these guys, that all of a sudden we're starting to see this 4th and 5th position at wide receiver as we're getting to our 4th practice, starting to heat up with some key names that we've been talking about. Not hearing much from Smith, Not hearing much from Mr. Brown, but we're hearing Cedric Wilson, Bryant, and John V. Johnson. What are your thoughts about that kind of coming out of camp today, guys?
It's funny that you said it because that was my exact thought. I think it's more telling of the names we haven't heard. So, all off season we saw that Devin Smith had supposedly been working out a lot and everything like that, but we haven't heard a peep about him during camp. Like not one little peep from not one Cowboys insider at all.
Right.
Same thing with Noah Brown. We haven't heard anything. So I think that's very telling that you're 4 days into practice and two of your veteran wide receivers you haven't heard any news on at all. That's looking like a bad sign for those guys.
Especially with no, kind of a shortened kind of deal here without the 5 preseason games. What do you think, Spoon?
Oh, I'm happy. I don't know who said it, but I know there was a comment made that, and again, I respect everybody's opinion, but the Cowboys should not be trusting a lot of the young guys. I mean, we're hearing the undrafted free agent guys making plays. I mean, that's something big. That is what we want. That makes it harder for them to cut these guys. You get a tricky guy, but a guy who's putting all out there and making the coach think otherwise.
Right. And you're talking about Tevin Jones, right?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Even Tevin Jones, catch was the first big play from Tevin Jones. 6'2", 225. Moves well, and everything says moves well for a player his size, and had nice plays throughout the day today. So it's even Tevin Jones was getting mentioned over Brown and over Smith. Go ahead, Spoon.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Mary came out and said when we went down with the roster prediction, she came out and said, "Watch for John V. Johnson, number 81. He had laps, but hey, for some reason with this coaching staff, I'm learning on the eye. I'm learning. I keep it real. He's banging out. But listen, one of my favorite guys is make plays. And this is 2 interceptions in the second day of camp. And that's Francis Bernard, the middle.
Whoa. We're just talking about wide receivers. We're going to get there.
I'm sorry. Hold on, always get me excited, man. Y'all always get me excited. I apologize, y'all. All right. With the receiving core, I'll stay there. Well, props to Mad with John V. Johnson. I was sold out on him. Spoonie just get mad sometimes. But he's making waves. He's the things that she had said about him a couple of weeks ago about why they kept him on is pretty much showing with this new coaching staff. I like that. And hey, listen, the more plays you keep making in front of McCarthy, the more he's going to recognize that, and more likely he's going to keep you. That's just plain simple. And I like that these guys are stepping up the play because we really know there's 3 wide receivers locked down. Tavon Austin is no more talk. He signed with the 49ers. They understand, listen, there's 3 more spots. Opportunities right here. Let's go after it. And I love it.
Yeah. So, again, the young guys are walking through the building right now. Some of these guys that have been hanging around, better step up to the forefront and get there. I see somebody talk about safety in here. We're going to get to safety. Don't worry. We're going to kind of touch a little bit from these camp notes and what's been going on. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But yeah, again, just those young guys and seeing that 4 or 5 in here, and we're seeing these young guys start making these plays. Makes me feel pretty good. I've been a big Cedric Wilson guy. I think Cedric's going to lock down 4. And then I think it's John Vay or Ventrell Brian. I think Brian gives you something that Johnson doesn't. So we'll see if they end up keeping 5 or 6. It gets kind of interesting, right? Now Spoon. We'll get to the linebackers here a little bit. I'll go ahead and let you lead off as you've been pounded the table for, if you will, about this guy from Utah, the undrafted guy, and he's had back-to-back. He's picked off Dak in one practice, and he's picked off the guy that's not making it, Colton Thornton.
Clayton
yeah,
Thornton.
I don't even pay attention to his name. I don't care. Yeah, go ahead, Spoon. Talk about your guy.
Woo! Come on now, y'all. We said it. Watch out for Francis Bernard, the linebacker. Yes, a little smallish, but the guy is a sideline speed linebacker. He played right next to Bradley Anae. Any highlight you see Bradley Anae, you're going to see Francis Bernard. And again, I told y'all Sunday, I says, This guy is going to make us fall in love with him. And guess what? I'm in love already. I know you guys will be in love very soon. It's going to be some loving Francis Bernard. This guy here is going to be something to watch out, especially when he subs in. He's going to make some plays, and he's doing it right now in practice. So, hey.
Yeah, I mean, currently he's the Luke Gifford of last year's camp so far, for sure. Mary, what you think?
Yeah, no, loving what I'm seeing from him so far. And, you know, another guy that's been noticeably quiet is Luke Gifford. I'm not sure if it's because he's still rehabbing or if he's just not looking the same. But yeah, our defense as a whole, I believe it's been 6 interceptions so far. 1 by Woods, 1 by Wilson, 1 by Brown, 2 by Francis Bernard, and then there's, I think Cheeto had 1. If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So 6 total in 4 practices, which puts us on a good, you know, gives us a little bit of hope. And, you know, not even just that, but we've heard about some passes being broken up or some balls swatted down. Alden Smith batted, swatted down a ball that Dak threw the other day. So, and he's been impressing in practice. I know a lot of fans were, you know, a little pessimistic about him coming back and what he could do, but he's been showing a lot of flashes as well.
Yeah.
And also another interesting thing from camp, he and D-Law are standing up in the 2-point stance.
Yeah, yeah. And with 2 and at times with just 2 defensive linemen and sometimes 3 defensive linemen. So it's a little bit of a hybrid all the way around, which is interesting you bring that up, Barry, because Jalen Smith also, as they said, described the new defense will be a hybrid where we can get to any type of scheme that we want to. Going back to his position at Notre Dame, Smith will have more freedom on the weak side to flow from sideline to sideline and make plays on the ball, which, again, I guess this might be the Spoonie show. Another thing that Spoonie has been pounding the table for this whole offseason about, hey, free up Jalen to do what he does when he was at Notre Dame. Spoonie, again, by all means, the floor is yours.
Hey, listen, if not for the injury, he would have been a top 5 pick automatically. And again, I have said Jalen Smith could play the 3-4. He could, when he's free, he could do it all. This is why I picked him to be the defensive player of the year for the Dallas Cowboys. And at the end of the day, I'm finding the right system will be here for him to just repeat what he was doing at Notre Dame before the injury. And that's another thing. It takes time for the injury like that to for somebody to overcome that mentally and physically. And he has gotten better and better and better each year. Now the system that he will be part of would definitely going to show all his skills, not just doing one thing, but doing multiple things, which he's great at. And he has shown this. He would have been a top 5 pick. So listen, the Jalen Smith Express is about to go take off. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, now obviously with some of that comes with LVE getting that green dot and have to make those calls. So we got to make sure that LVE is going to be able to do that. I'm sure, you know, Jalen's going to help him some there. Sean Lee's going to help him some whenever he did it. We got to see what LVE does. But the linebacking core started to look good. I do want to see some more from Gifford because we kind of talked about him, what he was able to do last year. We know it's a new system. Definitely want to see some more from him. But, I mean, we're starting to see this thing kind of take shape with these guys standing up outside, freeing up. Again, it feels like what this defense wants to do is let these players go do what they do best and just play without thinking so much, which is an amazing thing. Now, let's kind of get to some of the secondary stuff over the first few practices. Hands on balls. I mean, look, and actually, let me bring the linebackers been in there too. We've heard about even Alden Smith getting his hand on balls. We heard about Jalen Smith breaking up a screen pass. We're hearing about cornerbacks. I mean, Diggs gets an interception, basically ran the route for Devin Smith. Gets the interception. Xavier Woods getting an interception today, right? Worley with the punch out from the back. We're just hearing about all these turnovers. Now, granted, Mary, Spoonie, we heard about these turnovers last preseason, and we kept saying, man, let's hope this comes over to regular season. And, of course, it never did. But maybe a little bit more, you feel a little bit better about this happening right now, what they're doing, and maybe more of a chance unlike last year to come across, or
Yeah, I mean, the thing that gives me the most confidence is the different coaching staff and the new scheme.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they get us hyped up. They got us hyped up last season with how they were looking in practice and in some of the preseason games, but we ended up seeing all the same stuff, the same predictable moves on defense when the game started mattering. So um, I think the thing that gives me the most hope is that it's all new people, and the guys have talked about how they're disguising more, they're doing different things that they never really done with the other coaching staff.
right.
Similar to what Dak said about the offense, it's some things are similar, but overall, the communication is different and the way they approach things is different. So that's very, very good news.
No doubt. And of course, and some of that last year, right? We saw what Donovan Wilson did in training camp and then in preseason games, and we were banging the table to let him get in there. And of course, for those that don't know, we had a conversation with Broadus when he was still with the mothership and said, "You're just not going to see him. That's just what it is." And obviously, in the first couple of camps, he's got to run once. He's got to take an intercept. Maybe Donovan Wilson walks through that door. Now, here's the thing, right? We heard about Donovan Wilson walking through that door the first couple of practices, and now today we hear about Xavier Woods now returning serve, and we got a little battle kind of brewing right there. So hey, look. Now, Spoon, your boy Tuck's in the building. Cowboys fans only in the building. So get y'all's Woods hate on. Go ahead, Spoon.
Well, I'm gonna say this. In my opinion, it's my opinion alone. You guys have warned me about the new scheme, new coach, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuck, that's right, Tuck in the building right here. He persuaded me to go towards about not Xavier Woods. I'll say this. At the end of the day, all we kept on hearing about Xavier Woods was that breakout year. This is last year of his deal. Right. And yes, new scheme, new system. It may go in his favor. I just want to win. That's my thing. I just want the best for this Cowboys secondary to do anything. And it is a good thing. Listen, I might not be high on him as like the other safeties, but if he makes it and he does what he does, which he's doing right now, hey, I'll eat crow for it. Hey, Tuck, it's not easy, Tuck. It's not easy.
Let me grab this from Gregory Davis, right? And he says, "Why is everyone getting excited about interceptions and some fumbles too here, right? If it's turnovers don't show up in regular season and playoffs, fair, right?
Yeah.
It don't mean nothing. The talent is better on defense in 2020. The turnovers should be much better, and totally agree. And the fact that one of the first things that led off in camp outside of special teams was turnovers, right? So it's exciting to see with this new scheme, and we know we're going to be more attacking to see things that are turning over and things that are happening. But again, man, hey, it's fool's gold until we start seeing it in the regular season. Now we know our defensive coordinator is about blitzing and he's about getting turnovers, and we want to see those things happen. But yeah, I mean, you got to see it in practice first, and if I see it in practice, I know it can happen in when we get there to the real deal when the lights are on. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Here's the thing too.
Bro, they can't do worse. You're right, Cameron. They can't do worse. Go ahead, Mary.
And the thing about it, even in games or whatever, is a lot of times plenty of the guys would have their hand on the ball and somehow drop it. So they've been working on that too, of holding on to the ball or focusing more on finishing and not just it fumbling out of your hands. I mean, the interception that Anthony Brown had the other day, it like bobbled in the air and he still caught it. So, I mean, he definitely wouldn't have been able to do that last year. So it seems like there's more of an emphasis on working on your hands and focusing on actually getting interceptions and not just stopping a play. So mentality means everything. So hopefully the mentality has actually changed.
Right. Tempo, mentality, different things like that. Now let me pivot on here as we're now through a few practices, one padded practice. The biggest thing so far that stood out to each one of y'all. What is the biggest thing through training camp and practices so far that stood out? I'll go with Spoonie first, and we'll hit Mary after that.
I think the players are more excited. They're more energetic. They're being used to their full to their talents a lot more. I love seeing, again, BJ and Mary, we all talking aside about the 4-3 and the 3-4 of defense and stuff. But when I saw the video of the clip of Alden Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence standing up, right, and just how the play went, it was like, wow. And it was something totally different. And the players are buying into it. You can see a lot of laughter between McCarthy, Dak, and Zeke. You can see the laughter between him and them and the players. And what I like about too is that the one thing, no disrespect. Listen, I'm not against Gary. I was a Gary fan. I think it was time for that divorce. But my thing is that what I'm excited about is you're seeing more veteran players speak up for the younger players and pushing them harder. And so I take the way I take it is like this camp right here. What we're seeing is right now is guys are buying in more than what you saw in the past with Garrett. I think at the time, the last couple of years, they got tired of it, and you didn't have this camaraderie. You didn't have the kind of conversation that these guys are having right now. Like you even had the media speaking about how, I love them. I know the defense loves them, and championship run. Not only that, attitude. You know, when you hear Amari Cooper says 3,000 yard receivers, that spunk, and your head coach backs you up and says, you know what? I agree with him. I like that. It's a different feeling.
Right. You know, and I'm gonna bring this up from Cam. I'm gonna respond to what you commented earlier. Said I want to get the special teams right. Well, one, the very first thing they ran practice wise was special teams, and two, as you said earlier about the turnovers, it can't get any worse. It can only go up. So
literally,
I'm gonna use your own words against you there. It can only get better, Cameron. Right? And I mean, here's the other thing. And I'm gonna tie this back into the wide receiver thing. CeeDee Lamb and Cedric Wilson were the main ones that are fielding punts. Another key there about Cedric Wilson making this team and possibly being that number 4. But back to back to the question at hand, though. And also, hey, man, my guy Sid is in the building. Hey, speak your mind all the time. I mean, hit him up, Twitter or on YouTube. Great show. Just caught the show right before we came on tonight. With that, him and Cowboys fans only. I'm sorry, let me get that boy Jay Tuck. Ain't lemon pepper. It's going to be mild. You're going to owe me, sir. But with that being said, Mary, the thing over camp when you're not arguing with Texas fans about quarterbacks and whatnot.
Oh, that was a good laugh.
Right. but so far in camp, what has stuck out to you the most, Mary? What do you think has stuck out the most to you, Mary?
I mean, I will say it does seem like some enthusiasm, some more enthusiasm regarding the different looks on both sides of the ball. We heard, I posted what Dak said about the difference in the offense in the group. We saw what Jalen said about hybrid and disguising more. Cheeto has said, about disguising more. I think that's the biggest thing. Next to that, I would say disguising. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really the biggest thing. I'm also confused about, because I've been trying to figure out which one is which. So we are getting less information. So I'm trying to figure out if it's because of McCarthy or if it's an NFL rule now.
Now watch this. Well, here's the thing. and look, I got a number of things that I'm so excited about so far in these camps, right? And one of the things is McCarthy gives us real answers, ladies and gentlemen. He don't give us the robotic whatever. He gives us some real answers, some meat on the bone.
And if he doesn't answer, he'll say, we're keeping that to ourselves type of thing. He doesn't try to tiptoe around it. He'll just say,
one way or the other. Right. Exactly. They talk about Michael Gallup. And, for me, I've been a big fan of Michael Gallup. I told y'all once we drafted him, I was like, hey, this guy would be a number 1 if you play in the SEC. He would have been drafted in the first round. And they asked him about that today. I know there was some cats out there saying they would trade Gallup away in a package deal to go get Jamal. And I'm like, hell no. There's no way I would do that. Right. And, he was asked about Gallup today and he was like, man, he's a number 1 in my book. And you know, and he kind of broke down the reason why and stuff. We'll post that up here on the page afterwards. You can kind of go through the full comment. I got the full comment for it. You know, and just the difference. He talked about Tristan Hill today, and he was like, man, in the virtual meetings, how Tristan Hill was attacking it. You know, we had a show a few months back as we were leading into right after it was right after the draft, and we were talking about, you know, players and whatnot. And I'm like, hey, don't write Tristan Hill off yet. I know a lot of people want to get rid of him. He's a former second-round pick going into his second year. Don't write this guy off yet. And and you see him talk about him saying, hey, in the virtual meetings, man, he was asking, he was going, he was doing, you know, and everything. And he's been attacking. And then, of course, right in the first couple of practices, what's my guy Hill doing? Man, he's tossing it up. He's putting some hands on people. He's excited, you know, and some of that, you know, back to coaching and what this thing is and what they're saying and what they're delivering to these players is responsive. Obviously, it's a fresh voice, so it's going to be some of that. I do agree. Well, and again, until we get into the trenches and things get tight and tough, we'll see how all this, you know, conglomerate responds to that. Right now, everything looks good. I think some of the things that I like is them kind of putting clamps down a little bit and saying, hey, no, y'all don't shoot no video in here. We'll let you know. You know, now
they can't even live tweet. They have to wait till
they gotta wait, right? You know, so I kind of like that a little bit, you know. And then I also backdoor, like, here's what I love, like David Hellman cryptically keeps showing maybe a picture here, a little bit there about Pollard, and saying, interesting that this team realizes they have another running back that's really good. And I get a little bit excited about those things. I like reading the tea leaves, and he's just doing it just the right way to kind of let us know and what's going on. So I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the honeymoon phase is here. You know, that's why here's the key difference, I think, in a Gerald McCoy going down with this staff without playing the game yet to previous years. I think the sky will be falling in Cowboys Nation. We'd be like, oh, my God, Gerald McCoy's out. What are we going to do? As compared to right now, we're like, oh, well, now we got Hill in this thing. Crawford can slide back in. We drafted Gallimore, right, you know, and things, and it feels different. Now, yeah, I'm still worried about Collins working on the sideline. We had to go sign a tackle today, right? I'm still worried about that. But I'm not overly like, all right, something's wrong. Something's going to happen. You know, and it's just those things. And then, of course, another key thing about this offense is something we need to remember, and it's not all the things that McCarthy says. They kind of asked Zeke about what's the big thing that he worked on this offseason. He said catching the ball. Just kind of those things that we kind of get, and we kind of get an idea a little bit more of what's going on. And as Sid from Canada is out here saying, Canadian-born Gallimore. Hey, so is Tyrone Crawford. Don't forget, we got the two guys there at the tackle right now. They're Canadian-born. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let me jump on here for Gregory Davis says it sounds like the coaching staff, especially on defense, is all on the same page. I didn't see that last season. Gregory Davis, and the one thing that we talked about here tremendously, if you listened to us last year, was you had Chris Richard calling defenses. But it wasn't his style of defense. He was having to use, you know, old man Marinelli's playbook. So it didn't mesh well, right? On the same page. I didn't see that last season. That bend don't break defense didn't create sacks or turnovers. This defense in 2020 will be more aggressive. Absolutely. Now, being aggressive, you got to understand, you might get beat sometimes, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're going to especially when you got some young guys, you know.
Right
back there,
right. You're going to get a little bit of that. We got a question from Cowboys fans. Says, y'all think we will be the new standard in Dallas and no more fanfare camp? So let's put that in the context. So basically, you're saying no Oxnard with all the fans showing up. Let's put it in that context. Do we think there's no more Oxnard? I mean, they got to deal with Oxnard still thing for a few years, but over there, is it going to be shut down from the fan experience or the live tweeting and stuff? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is a COVID situation. I think if things are fine, we'll be at Oxnard next year. I think the fans will be able to come out. Now, on the media side, I don't know what the media will be able to do that's with the official passes, but I think the fans will be back in the building in Oxnard next year if everything is fine. What do you think, Spoon?
No, I love the fact that the media right now is not basically saying too much. At the end of the day, we heard lies. So many lies, so many small things that they make a big thing about it. But guess what? There's no accountability. They never come back and say that we was wrong, what we reported. So my whole thing with that, I like the way that it keeps the guys focused. It shows that the coaching staff, Mike McCarthy, especially the head coach, think he's behind the guy's back. Why? End of the day, that's all they do. That's all they do. There can be so many problems on other teams, but it won't be reported because guess what? Them teams are boring. We're the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. We steal the headlines, and that's what's going on. And I love the fact how they are shut down. It's just like what happened with Jerry McCoy. Normally, in the beginning, it could be something small. They know what it is. No, his leg is torn off or whatever. Then later down the line, it's nothing. I mean, even though it was a freak accident, it did happen that way, the way it was reported, but it kind of allows me to see that they only report it for when it's time to report it and they get the facts right. Once they get the facts, they report it, not made up. Niggas go crazy. Oh, no, it's nothing. You know, right. It's like Denzel. It's like Denzel Washington said a long time ago. He goes, "You guys want to be the first to report it? Just sell it. It don't matter if we right or wrong. Just sell it. That's it. Instead of being just reported right." And I'm happy the way they're doing it.
Well, me personally, I don't think.
What about
I think this doesn't change anything. I think as long as they determine that it's safe for fans to be there next year, that they will be. I am leaning towards, as far as the media goes, it seems to me that this is definitely something that McCarthy wanted. I was wrestling with it before, like, is this an NFL rule or not? But I think it's something McCarthy wanted, and it makes sense for it to happen this year specifically because they're a new staff completely. There's some new guys, and you want an element of surprise when you play that first game in September. So I think it makes a lot of sense for them to not want any film or footage of camp at all, except for the limited pictures we've seen. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen long term, though. I think the fans will be back next season, and I think it's possible that the media will be back too.
Yeah, and as Mark said, going back to Hill real quick, says he's always played out of position. He's nowhere near a one tech. No, he's definitely a three. With the speed and person and things that he has, he's for sure a three guy. But I mean, he's got the. Again, it's just one of those things from what they tried to do with guys last year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, Alan, with the questions, do we bring back? I mean, look, I'm team Jokes all day, but he's already been picked up, though.
He's been
picked up by the Carolina Panthers. I wish him well. I'm going to follow him because I love me some Jokes. Still hashtag Team Jokes over here. Harrison Snacks to replace McCoy. You're not going to bring in Harrison Snacks because he's a one tech. He's not a three tech, and McCoy's going to play the three tech. So bringing Harrison in, he would basically be either the starter or the backup to Poe. He wouldn't be the three tech. Right now what you're going to look at with the three tech moving forward here is you're going to be looking at Gallimore, Hill, and Crawford, and who's going to take over that position at the three tech for sure is where that's going to be at. But yeah, definitely Jokes. I'm going to pay attention to him over there in Carolina and see what he does. My guy Norton checking in on YouTube says hashtag as always, new coach, new scheme. And yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Hey, look, that's what we're excited about, right? At the end of the day, oh man, Spoons let Adams go a long time ago, man. You got to put it to bed, man. Spoons not worried about Adams no more. As soon as we signed number 96, should be 97, but he's 96. As soon as we signed 96, he was good. Now this is a good question here. And I hated to see him go so early, but I don't think it's going to happen. Should the Cowboys bring back Garrett Marino? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they should. I think they got a three-man rotation there to figure it out. I didn't even throw Antoine Woods in there at all either. So I don't think that's going to be something that's going to happen. If they had any kind of thought process in him, I don't think it'd be on the chopping block so soon. Right. And of course, the thing that we're seeing right now is we're seeing so many vets get burns. We're not hearing about Bradley Anae right now. Well, he's a young guy. They got to make sure the vets are on page first with what's going on before they can start working into Bradley Anae's and whatnot and bringing in another undrafted guys I spoke on a ton. if you got 4 or 5 undrafted guys making your team, your roster's in trouble. At the end of the day, I think 2 max undrafted guys are going to make this team. And that might be reaching even on that standpoint. Now, with that being transition there, back to these camps and notes. Hold on, let me get it back up here for the folks in the building. I wonder, I wonder how McCarthy feels because we're seeing some of this little bit of video, the 2 down, 2 standing. We're seeing those guys kind of come off the edges, right? We're seeing the broken up passes and everything. And I always believe, and I talked about this on Sunday, defense starts quicker, offense usually catches up. So through the first 4 or 5 practices here, we're seeing a lot of defensive here, defensive there. But we saw a little twist today. And then we're talking about these other wide receivers. I think it's going to be very quickly we're going to start hearing about this offense really kicking it into high gear and giving this defense some work because I think that's how it kind of starts. And then we'll see the adjustment from there. Who's the guy on either side of the ball that's not, the name brand player, if you will, that you're looking forward to maybe hearing over the next couple of days, next couple of practices, maybe walk through that door? I'll start. I want to see more Donovan Wilson making some more plays. He started with a splash. Seems like he kind of faded. I want to see him kind of come back to the forefront and make a splash. Also, I'm not hearing enough yet from the tight end position either, other than what McCarthy said about what he thinks about Blake Jarwin. Those are kind of my 2, what I kind of look at there. Mary, who do you look forward to see maybe over the next few practices kind of maybe take a step forward here that we're not getting a lot of pub or page time right now?
I want to hear more about Reggie Robinson. I think something they mentioned, I can't remember exactly what they said, but he got beat on a play today. And before today, we hadn't really heard much about him in the rotation at all. So I want to hear much more about Reggie Robinson. He's a guy who, Will McClay said after the draft that he was his pet cat. So want to see more from him. We've talked about him a lot. Versatile guy, can play safety and corner. So want to hear more about him from either position on the field. Hopefully he gets some more reps and he can impress. As far as offense, I want to hear some more about Tony Pollard. We've heard a little bit here and there, but we haven't really, we know they're doing 2-back sets and things like that. But I want to hear more about, what he's doing on special teams or any plays that are designed with him in the slot, stuff like that.
And look, low key, I'm gonna throw this out there, and we'll kind of monitor this as we go along. As I'm looking at David Hellman and what his cryptic tweets about Pollard, I don't know if there's not been a muzzle maybe put out there that they can't talk about Pollard. And I wonder if McCarthy's working behind the scenes a little bit, maybe puppeteering about, hey, don't say too much about Pollard. But I'm with you, Mary. Let's keep an eye on that because you might stumble into something right there for sure. I'm with you there. Spoon. Give me one over the next, during this week, who you want to see kind of coming to the board for the bubble.
Defense, Chris Westry. We all been a fan of him. 6'4" corner.
Got that speed.
4.3 speed. We all know when Chris was Shaw drafted, we heard things about him being maybe a safety, whatever. He's on this roster. Definitely want to know what's their plans for him in the future. Does he have a spot on this team? What are they trying to do with him? As far as offense, Tyler Badass. I really want to hear about him more. He is taking over Travis Frederick for the future. I really want to see how he's doing with the offense, as far as the line, how he's doing with the coverages, X, Y, and Z, the communication between him and the quarterback. Definitely want to hear about those 2 guys the most.
Yeah, and maybe another thing with Tyler there is not getting as many reps or whatever the case may be, just because they're trying to get the vets up to speed. But I'm with you there. David want to hear some more about Tyler stepping into the building and coming to that forefront. On the back door of that, and actually, Mary, I'm glad you brought up Reggie because I was like, man, before on Sunday, I'm like, man, where's Reggie? We haven't heard anything. And of course, he got beat by Vontrell Bryant. I think Vontrell's on the team, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
I think if I'm going to make a concrete, I think 5th or 6th. If the carry 6, he'll be here. If the carry 5, I think he's the 5th. again, he kind of gives us what on the outside, kind of right what Gallup does, and then you can kind of get your Steg Wilsons to be that slot guy, different things. I think Bryant might have already stamped his space on this team. Noah Brown, we appreciate you. It's been real. Bryant's walked through the building, right? That's kind of where I'm at. Now,
Bryant looks like a really good red zone threat.
He does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. And he's a great special team guy as well already. Yes, exactly. So, I think he kind of checks all the marks, and I think he's going to be here. And he's not been beat up like Noah Brown's been beat up, right? Now, my guy, Alana Lua, who I penciled in as the one undrafted guy who's going to make this team after Waluze left at fullback, haven't really heard much about him.
Yeah.
I would like to hear something about old Suo a little bit and see how they're trying to work him in and what he's got going and what's going on with him as well. The one thing for sure is, and I think that I take away from the camp so far is, man, everything's about competing, whether it's the two wide receivers. And I actually caught this. We had the video, right, of Gallup and Amari Cooper catching the ball and fighting with one hand each and fighting over it. And Gallup was like, it's not fair. His hands are bigger. It's not fair. His hands are bigger. But again, It's one of those things where it's still just, you're still competing. Those guys know what they are on this team already. But this coaching staff has found ways, even with those guys that know what their position is already, for them to still compete no matter what's going on or what the drill is. And I love the fact that they're consistently doing things to make these guys compete against each other and to make each other better. And I think that's something that's liked here a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I don't see a way that Seawood doesn't make the cut, Norton. I'll be honest with you guys.
Are we talking about Connor?
Yeah.
He's going to make the team. There's no way we don't have anybody really to.
Yeah. I want McGovern maybe to win that position, but I think Connor Williams is definitely on this team. And Anthony in the bill says, defense, I want to hear more about Diggs and Hill. Hill's getting a little bit of pup. Obviously, we heard about the Diggs pick on covering the other Hill downfield. It's coming, and he's in that first, and he's getting some first team reps as well as it pertains to Diggs. So we'll see what's going on moving forward on that end. And of course, I'm gonna take my time here. We did that percentage game about Cheeto playing at cornerback, and I went way out there on the percentage over y'all, and I was like, yes. And the fact that they're keeping Cheeto at corner so far,
yeah, I'm very happy.
Very, very, very happy about that. Very happy about that. But now, as it looks so far, Anthony Brown starting on the outside opposite of Cheeto. How do you feel? Let's kind of maybe dive into that. How do you feel about Anthony Brown on the outside?
Just based on what it seems like is that they've just been trying guys in different parts. So to me, if he's spending most of his time on the outside, that means he's doing better than some of the other guys. So the best man should start. Obviously, a lot of us have a bad taste in our mouth about a few guys on defense, but ultimately, we just got to remember it's not the same scheme, it's not the same staff. So that makes a huge difference. We talked about the way they made them play corner and they didn't let them disguise anything. We talked about, some of the things they did might have been a little odd or a little shady. Once you got on their bad side, you were always there. But once you're on their good side, you're always there, and they wouldn't bench a guy even if he was doing bad. But I'm comfortable now, or more comfortable, just because it seems like they are putting all of them in a better position to succeed. And, if the season starts and we see Anthony Brown getting beat that much on the outside, then we know we got guys that can step in. We know we have a staff that is willing to let other guys play and not just have him sit there for weeks and weeks getting beat. So if he's the best guy to start week one and continue to start, I'm fine with it.
Swanee?
Hey, listen, Anthony Brown was the starting corner a year before Lewis and Cheeto got drafted. And I said that the best game he ever had was when we played the Steelers. That was Dak and Zeke rookie year. Man, he guarded Antonio Brown, and he did a solid job. Then once the coach changes, all of a sudden he's playing the slot. too many experiments. At the end of the day, you got to put the guys where they're best being played at. And you can see more of it. I've never argued about Anthony Brown as far as outside corner. I've done argue about him playing the slot. We saw the plays. Certain guys are not slot guys, no matter what you want to do with them. I don't care. Well, we see the way you move here. We're going to try that. What I like what this coaching staff is doing, they're putting the guys where they best play at.
Right.
That's important. Whatever you need to fill up, you fill up. You sign somebody. But put the guys where they best play at. And he's doing a great job on that corner side. Hey, it creates better competition. It creates guys to get better. And I'm liking it.
No doubt. And, of course, Buddha checked in and said, Xavier Woods, his play will be crucial to a successful secondary. I think it's a battle right now, though. I think it's a battle between Woods and Wilson, who's going to be that starter over there, unless they're bringing my guy Logan Ryan. But that's neither here nor there. I think it's a battle. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Woods is going to be that guy. I think they're going to give Cedric Wilson, they're going to give Donovan Wilson every chance to battle and be that guy. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Y'all think Woods is penciled in right now? Am I misreading that, or what do y'all think?
Yeah, I think he's probably penciled in right now.
Think so?
I mean,
okay.
He's on this website as being the starter. So,
Spoony, you think Woods penciled in?
He's not, in my opinion, he's not, only because of last year's contract. I think the team would benefit more by seeing the future of Donovan Wilson. Again, he didn't get to play last season, but he should have. And at the end of the day, it tells you the future. So you upgrade that position, or you like what you see in this guy. At the end of the day, it's contract year. So Xavier Woods, he's on his last year of his contract. Yes, he's going all out. But at the end of the day, you want to see the guys that you have for longer years. They will be here next year and see what they got. So I won't say he's penciled there. But if he becomes the best guy out of camp, then he will be the starter.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, to be continued as training camp rolls along here. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? We'll see how it plays out. With that being said, that's about our time for tonight. As you see, we kind of changed our names up down here. That's how you can find us on Twitter. Your guy Nick's _ Stargame Beauty, Spoonie881. You can find us there on Twitter. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna go round table for y'all. Last word on training camp going forward. Spoonie, I'll start with you first as we want to get out of here.
Do you guys hear that?
Oh boy. You knew
you guys hear that?
You knew he was gonna sneak it in somewhere.
oh, Lord.
Come on. He's gonna get us. He's gonna get us muted. Is what he's gonna do.
Let's go.
All right, Mary. Mary. Training camp moving forward. What you got for the people?
I mean, the first Cowboys game of the season is less than a month away. So,
ooh, clap it up for that. Clap it up for that.
We are almost there.
Yeah, we are almost there. We are inching towards that. A lot of these questions will be answered. With that being said, we do this every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And of course, for all of our YouTube subscribers, if you went over there and subscribed to YouTube, here at 9:30 Central, we're going to bounce back over there. We do the after party show. We might have a special guest in the building or two even. You never know. By all means, if you want to get some more and talk some more Cowboys football with us, shoot over to the Star Gang on Cowboys on YouTube. Hit that sub button. Get ready. We're going to come back at you at 9:30 here in just 30 minutes. Man, we appreciate y'all as always. We'll see y'all next Tuesday. And, of course, join and like the page or join and like the group. Like and follow the page. Man, we be updating stuff all the time. Videos, pics, analysis, the whole nine. We appreciate y'all as always. See y'all in 30 minutes on YouTube. Star Gang.